Alright, well, just in 12 hours, we're going to be watching Gambred Boxing. Probably have their biggest card yet. I mean, you have guys like Roy Jones Jr. returning, fighting Anthony Pettis. I mean, this fight, as soon as it was announced, I was just hyped. This April month is going to be insane. So at the end of the month, you also have that BKFC card with Mike Perry and Luke Rockhold, which is crazy enough. But we're talking about this card, Gambred Boxing. Alright, so what is this? You know, a lot of you guys might be like, there's no UFC tomorrow. What are you even talking about? Well, today, in just 10 hours, on UFC Fight Pass, there's going to be a big boxing match hosted by Jorge Masvidal and his boxing promotion. They have a massive card. I'm going to be talking about the top 3 fights, which are Anthony Pettis and Roy Jones Jr. as the headliner event, Vitor Belfort versus Gambred Souza. Finally, which could arguably be the headliner, Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Stephens. Honestly, any of these could be a main event. I'd be super excited for them. So I'm glad, even though we don't have UFC, we still can go on UFC Fight Pass and see some cool ass fights. Alright, Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stephens. You know, Jose Aldo just retired a couple months ago, and it seems like boxing is going to be his new thing. I mean, right now, we have talks of Floyd Mayweather and Jose Aldo possibly happening in Saudi Arabia, but I think it's very contingent on if Jose Aldo wins this fight. But honestly, I could see Floyd fighting him anyway, even if he loses, but I think it's definitely better if he wins the fight. Now, Jeremy Stephens also really is a good boxer in the UFC. He's now longer in the UFC, and I think this is a really fun matchup. I mean, we've seen Jose Aldo really defy the law and been this great combat sports athlete. While yes, Jose Aldo has had a lot more success in MMA than Jeremy Stephens, Jose Aldo is a guy that uses his mixed martial arts very well. Recently in his career, though, he has been focusing on the boxing, which gives him a lot of edge. But through a lot of his early career, you know, we saw him with the leg kicks, really using that Muay Thai style. And we saw his boxing debut last time. He did pretty well. And I don't think Jose Aldo can knock out Jeremy Stephens. I think Jeremy Stephens might have the ability to knock out Jose Aldo, but I don't think that's possible either. And I think it's going to go to either who gets hit more or the technique. I'm going to be going with Jose Aldo. I think he's technically better. I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Jeremy Stephens. I think we're going to see this go to full decision. I can see Jeremy landing some volume, kind of just out-dogging Jose going forward. But I think that Jose has enough technique to avoid those shots. I think he's going to put on a really good performance here, and I think that'll perfectly set up the Mayweather fight. But let's hope everything goes well. Plus, when you consider the fact that Jeremy Stephens did have a pretty bad weight cut, as we saw, I'm gonna go with Jose Aldo. Alright, but the co-main event, Vitor Belfort versus Gambred Souza. Gambred Souza has not been in the UFC for a long time. Neither has Vitor Belfort, of course, but we did see him fight Evander Holyfield. Obviously looked really good there, but Evander's a really young guy. He was supposed to fight Oscar De La Hoya, and he's been working on his boxing, kind of working in silence for the past few years, and I'm really excited to see his improvements. And while we have Gambred on the other hand, and Gambred is a guy that has a lot of skill, he's really good on the ground, but we're gonna see how he reacts with all those martial arts taken away from him, and he can only use boxing. So I'm not going to be breaking down this fight so much because I think it's pretty clear to me who's going to win. Vitor Belfort, he's just been training so much. We saw Gambred Souza literally get knocked out by Kevin Holland while Kevin was on the bottom. Just because of that, I don't even think Gambred should be competing anymore. I'm going with Vitor Belfort. But the main event, this fight I'm so excited to be talking about. Roy Jones Jr. coming back since his fight with Mike Tyson. Yes, that fight was an exhibition, and yes, they probably weren't going so hard on each other. I thought Mike Tyson won it pretty clearly. But regardless, you know, he's not going to be fighting a boxer. He's going to be fighting Anthony Pettis, a guy that got famous off using the Showtime kick. Like, this guy is not a boxer. He also has fought at 145 in his career. Roy Jones Jr. even has fought at heavyweight. Granted, he wasn't so big of a heavyweight. I think what Anthony Pettis has to do is be a little unorthodox, show that MMA style. While sometimes there is some bad habits in MMA you could have, I think offensively, fighting like you're in an MMA fight with your hands could be a good thing. I think defensively is where more of the problems lie, and I think that's what he should do. Try to work on the defense, attack Roy with things he hasn't seen, and Roy is going to be a lot slower than he was back in the day. So I think if you try to land a lot of those awkward shots that you can in MMA, it might be bad for Roy Jones Jr. And I think for Roy Jones Jr., he really has to use the jab. I think he has to look really clean in this fight. And this fight's at 200 pounds. I think Roy's going to have a little bit of a weight advantage because probably Pettis just walked in normally on the scale. I don't think Roy Jones Jr. cut so much weight, but it definitely was nowhere near as much as Pettis. Honestly, I'm having trouble deciding this. I don't even know who I'm going to pick. There's so many question marks. Gun to my head, I think I'm going to go Anthony Pettis. I don't know. I might change it to Roy Jones Jr. I have no clue because I think if Pettis tries to just box with him, have clean boxing, I think Roy is going to win. But I think if Pettis comes in with that MMA style, I think he could win. So I'm going to go with Anthony Pettis. Plus, Roy Jones Jr. is like 50, and I think that'll go to a decision. I think that Vitor Belfort will win by knockout, and I think that'll be early. But let me know what you guys think. The fight's available on pay-per-view on UFC Fight Pass. Not sponsored, so maybe I shouldn't be promoting it. But I'm super excited, guys. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it on Monday. Like I said, no stream tomorrow. And when I'm back, we'll be talking about UFC 285. We're finally here, and that whole card is crazy. Like that, I could do a breakdown on each one of those fights. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Which fight are you guys more excited for this weekend? PFL is also going on. I'm excited to watch that. Anthony Joshua also making his return. Don't forget about that. I'll be going with AJ on that fight, pretty clear. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.